Because I'm telling you right now, what we're seeing is embarrassing to Caitlin Clark brand, and you wonder why fans are just not in tune with Caitlin no more. This is why. This is why they're just not in tune. It's ridiculous. Well, on to Monday, they playing a Mercury. They might lose against them too.
There is a fire burning in Indiana, and it is not the competitive heat of a championship run. It is the smoke of a franchise imploding around the most significant player to enter the league in a generation. We are watching the unraveling of the Caitlin Clark era in real time, and the footage is damning. The narrative has shifted from generational talent to franchise hostage. The agent that was supposed to guide Caitlin Clark's career, to cultivate her brand and protect her legacy, has allowed her to walk into a battlefield without armor. The visuals from the recent debacle against the Atlanta Dream are not just a loss on the stat sheet, they are a visual confession. We are looking at a team that is structurally broken, but more importantly, we are looking at an organization that has fundamentally betrayed the player who put them on the map. When the narrative shifts from Caitlin Clark saves the Fever to Caitlin Clark wants out of Indy, you know something is deeply rotten in the state of Indiana. We are not watching a team struggle. We are watching a player endure a hostile environment constructed by the very people who should be building around her. This is a franchise that has been given a golden ticket, a player with unprecedented basketball IQ, a player who can bend defenses to her will. Yet we see a system that refuses to adapt, a coach in Stephanie White that appears to be actively mismanaging her talent, and an agent who appears to be watching it all happen without intervention. It's a betrayal of trust, a squandering of talent, and a masterclass in organizational dysfunction. The question is no longer about the Fever's playoff chances. The question is about the psychological safety of their star player. Are we witnessing the end of Caitlin Clark's time in Indiana before it even truly began?
You cannot convince me otherwise. That she would rather lose the game than run the offense through Caitlin Clark. I don't know what it is, why she hate Caitlin so much, but she definitely do. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't think they beat the Mercury, guys. I'm here to give y'all transparency, and honestly, I don't think they beat the Mercury.
The betrayal is on the tape. The dialogue surrounding the Indiana Fever has shifted from rookie development to tactical sabotage. In the contemporary WNBA, where space and pace are king, the Fever are running an offense that resembles a relic from the early 2000s. The unthinkable truth is starting to surface. The Fever coaching staff, led by Stephanie White, is actively refusing to run their offense through Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a tactical disagreement, it is a defiance of basketball logic. Analyzing the film, the evidence is overwhelming. The broadcast exposes a critical breakdown, Kelsey Mitchell ignoring a wide-open Sophie Cunningham to drive into a wall of 4 defenders. It is a microcosm of a systemic issue. There is no spacing. The court is condensed and the action is chaotic. With Caitlin Clark on the floor, you have arguably the greatest distance shooter and passer the women's game has ever seen. To revert to isolation ball and contested drives is not just coaching negligence. It is a betrayal of the player's skill set. Caitlin Clark's basketball IQ is on a different plane. She sees the game 2 steps ahead. She understands angles, spacing, and leverage in ways that dominate the college game. But here, in the WNBA, her genius is being capped. She is being forced to play the game on the coach's terms, and those terms are losing basketball. The broadcaster's condemnation, "What is you doing?" is a shared sentiment across the fanbase. The truth is undeniable. The Fever are losing because the organization is prioritizing a system that negates their star player. It is a long-term strategic blunder that threatens to turn the locker room into a war zone. The shocking sentiment that Stephanie got to go is not just fan rage, it is a statistical reality. When your system minimizes your best player while amplifying the weaknesses of your role players, you are orchestrating the team's demise. The consequences are not just about wins and losses, they are about the future of the league's most valuable asset. By failing to build a system around Caitlin Clark, the Fever are effectively burning the bridge to sustain success.
This face tells me she don't want to play for this team no more. Do not be surprised if Caitlin asks for a trade next year. I promise you. Do not be surprised if Caitlin wants out of Indiana. It's a mess. This is a mess. This whole experiment is just a mess right now.
The betrayal is psychological. The weight of this organization is crashing down on Clark. Watching her on the bench, head down, or on the court with a look of utter frustration, we are witnessing the joy of the game being systematically drained from a generational superstar. This is no longer just about basketball. It is about the sanctity of the sport being violated by a combination of poor coaching, poor officiating, and the cynical theatrics of rivals. The comparison to Iowa is jarring. In college, Clark was a maestro, playing explosive, high-quality basketball. She was the conductor of an orchestra. In Indiana, she is a soloist in a marching band that doesn't know the tune. The narrative that this is worse than Christie Sides is damning. It suggests the current environment is not just losing, but it's toxic. Adding to the psychological turmoil is the intrusion of entertainment, wrestling tactics entering the sport. The mention of Angel Reese flopping brings the discussion to the theater of the game. While many see it as a savvy veteran move to draw fouls, when juxtaposed with the embarrassing coaching of the Fever, it paints a picture of a league where Clark is forced to navigate not just a broken system, but also the unprofessional antics of opponents. It is an unfair burden. Caitlin Clark is fighting a war on two fronts: the disorganized chaos of her own team and the cynical tactics of her rivals, often with the referees, as mentioned, playing way too big of an impact. The frustration is palpable. This environment fosters the ultimate betrayal, the suggestion that Caitlin Clark wants out of Indy. It is a damning indictment of the front office and coaching staff. It suggests that the trust between the player and the organization has been irreparably damaged. The organization is losing the player, and it is losing the fans. The atmosphere is no longer one of development, it is one of survival.
Somebody said her press conference, it was another good loss, LOL. I'm truly starting to think she would rather lose than run the offense through Caitlin Clark. You cannot convince me otherwise. You cannot convince me otherwise that she would rather lose the game than run the offense through Caitlin Clark. I don't know what it is, why she hate Caitlin so much, but she definitely do.
The most shocking betrayal is not just the coaching, but the silence. The footage reveals an organization rudderless, with Austin Kelly on a bench with his head down, a visual metaphor for the entire Fever franchise. They don't know what the hell to do. But here is the critical question: who is advocating for Caitlin Clark? Where is the agent to protect her from this nightmare? The agent's role is to facilitate the environment for success. In the highest levels of professional sports, an agent is the guardian of a player's legacy. If the coach is running a scheme that borders on sabotage, if the roster construction is flawed, and if the star player is visibly miserable, the agent must be the voice of intervention. The absence of this voice is a profound betrayal. The agent is allowing Clark to be the scapegoat for a broken system. They are allowing her legacy to be tarnished by a coach who, according to the analysis, would rather lose than run the offense through Caitlin Clark. If that is the case, the agent's failure is criminal. They are complicit in the slow poisoning of a generational brand. The financial implications are enormous. An unhappy star in a small market is a recipe for disaster. The fanbase is not in tune anymore. The mystique is fading. The energy that Caitlin Clark generated is being choked out by losing basketball. An agent worth their salt would be orchestrating a way out, demanding a trade, or at the very least, publicly pressuring the front office for change. But we see nothing. We only see a player being dragged down by a sinking ship. The high-stakes climax of this story is the prediction: do not be surprised if Caitlin asks for a trade next year. We are at a precipice. The Indiana Fever is teetering on the edge of a franchise-altering disaster. The potential loss of Caitlin Clark would be the biggest self-inflicted wound in modern WNBA history. It would signal to the rest of the league that Indiana is a place where talent goes to die.